Okay, we want to take another look at this rational function. Knowing now that even though x minus 2 over x plus 9 gets very close to 1 when x gets large, which would tend to imply that the graph is going to approach that of x plus 4, but also that x plus 4 over x plus 9 gets close to 1 when x gets large, so when x gets large, the graph should approach x minus 2. Neither one of these is correct, and for reasons that we'll see in a minute. What it's really asymptotic to, what the graph really approaches, is the graph of x minus 7. We get that by long division. We'll delay that for a minute. Just take my word for it that this is what the long division comes out to. If I find out that I'm wrong, I'm going to have to go back and redo all these videos, huh? Okay, so I'm pretty sure I'm right about that. Now, here I've got a graph very similar to the one we did before, and you can always look back to the preceding video, but if you're doing what you need to do to learn this stuff, you'll be taking notes, and you'll have a picture of that graph in your notes, along with some notes about why things work the way they do, because that way you're engaged in the video instead of just sitting back and letting your eyes roll up in your head while the video plays. Now, you don't do that, but actually you might, you know. I can do that if things get in a little too deep for me sometimes. But I'm not really seriously saying you're going to let your eyes roll back in your head. But analogously, you can lose your attention unless you're active in the process. Take the notes. You should have notes, thorough notes on what I've done previously. Okay, so anyhow, here we go. We construct the graph. And I'm not going to go through the reasoning again, because again, you should understand that. The graph is asymptotic here. It's positive, so it's going to come down here. It's going to go through the axis here. It's going to turn around, come through the axis here. And then what's it going to do? Well, we're going to see. Okay? Now, before I show you what it's going to do here, let's complete this. Okay? Then maybe do a little bit of correction. Okay, now let's see. I think I can do this. I think I'm in the right direction here. Fudged a little bit. But this is supposed to be a straight line. Y equals x minus 7. And came through here a little steeper than I should have, so I'm going to make a little correction. I don't want to come in through that steep. I'll come through here about like this. Then I'll allow the graph to gradually approach the line y equals x minus 7, because that's what happens. Now down here, the graph is going to have an asymptote to the axis. It's also going to be asymptotic to this line. So what it's going to do is it's going to come up here. It's probably not going to go through that line. It's probably just going to turn around and go back down. Okay? So there's what the graph is going to look like. Now, it is possible the graph could come up above this line here and then come down and approach the asymptote. And you'd actually need to either do some substitution for numbers or use techniques of calculus to see if there's an inflection point. And, you know, we're not doing that here. So this graph would be fine. If you wanted to come up here and then come back down, okay. But I'm thinking it probably does this. I could be wrong. Okay. I haven't done the calculus. I haven't done the numbers. Now, where do we get this x minus 7 and 55 over x plus 9? Well, that comes from a long division. Okay? So anytime you have a graph or a polynomial like this, where the numerator has a higher power than the denominator, meaning if you expand the numerator, the highest power, the leading coefficient, or the leading power is greater than the highest power of the denominator, you could do a long division and learn a little bit more about how the graph behaves for large x. Okay, so that might be all we're going to say right now about this. So there'll be, you get another problem like this, or 2 or 3 or 4, and you're going to sketch some graphs. And hopefully you won't have any trouble with it because we understand this process pretty well.